Hello everyone, and welcome back to your next video. We will be continuing with computer networking, and we will be continuing with Unit 1, Introduction to Networking. Now we will be focusing on Module 2, which is the physical layer and the basics of networking devices. We will cover cables, hubs, switches, and routers, servers and clients, as well as what moving bits, twisted cables, and ports are. Let's go ahead and get started with cables. Cables are different devices which are connected to each other using cables, which allow for data transmission. Cables are what allows two different devices to connect to each other, and the data that is being transmitted is going to be transmitted through those cables. Now, there are two common types of cables. You have the more common and cheaper one, copper, and the less common but more expensive one, fiber. Let's start with copper cables. Copper cables are the most common form of networking cables. The way you make copper cables are they're made inside a plastic insulator with multiple pairs of copper wires intertangling with each other. Sending device changes the voltage between two ranges in order for the receiving device to read them as ones and zeros. This basically means that when you are trying to transmit the data will be transmitted in a series of ones and zeros, and the way the receiving computer will be able to read those ones and zeros will be the change in voltage between the two ranges. The sending device will change the voltage depending on whether it wants to change ones and zeros. These voltage changes can then be translated into different forms of data. The most common forms of copper twisted pair cables are Cat5, Cat5e, and Cat6. The difference between these types of cables have to do with their physical characteristics, such as the number of twists they have, which will impact their transfer rates. So, the Cat5e cables have more or less completely replaced Cat5 due to their ability to reduce crosstalk. Now you may be wondering, what is crosstalk? Well, crosstalk is when an electric pulse is accidentally detected on a non-intended wire, and Cat5e cables have the ability to reduce this, and therefore Cat5e cables are used more and more over Cat5 cables. Now Cat6 cables can even further reduce crosstalk, but at the expense of costs and distance. So Cat5e cables can go over a much wider distance than Cat6 cables. The second type of cable is the fiber optic cable. The fiber optic cable contains individual optic fibers about the width of a human hair, and instead of changing in electricity waves, they transport beam of light, and the pulses of the lights are used instead to represent the zeros and ones. The sending device still has to change the pulses of the lights in order for the receiving device to be able to read the zeros and ones. The benefits of fiber optic cables are much higher as they can transport data much quicker, but unfortunately they are much more expensive and fragile. Another big benefit of the fiber optic cable is that they can transport data over much greater distances. Let's talk about what the hub is. A hub is a physical layer device that allows the connections of multiple computers at once. And the reason we need something like a hub is point-to-point connections are increasingly useless in our day and age, because nowadays everything is connected globally. So what is the reason for having just one computer connected to another computer across the room, where what you would want nowadays is to have that same computer connected to another computer all the way in London to Toronto to Australia, wherever the connection may be. Since many devices are connected at once, and there will be a lot of noise on the network, and this will create a collision domain, and hubs cannot stop this. Collision domains is a network segment where only one device can communicate at a time, which is caused when multiple devices send data at the same time and the data gets all garbled and confused. So what the collision domain will do is it will automatically stop all data from being sent and only allow one device to send the the data at once. This is one of the biggest reasons why hubs are not used as much, because of their ability to not be able to stop collision domain. Hubs are not used as much when compared to a network switch. Let's talk about a network switch. A switch is the data link device, as it can inspect the data and send it to the device it is meant for. This, therefore, will reduce or completely eliminate the need for collision domains on a network. When using a hub, you cannot inspect the data, and therefore the data will be sent everywhere, and hopefully it won't be sent multiple times at once, and there won't be a need for a collision domain. A network switch works differently. The network switch can inspect the data and send it exactly to the device it is meant for, and therefore the device will always receive the data, and this won't have any need for collision domains, since the data will go directly to the device and not in a range of area. This will lead to fewer retransmission and a higher throughput, and this is almost always used, in fact, instead of a hub. Routers. Hubs and switches can connect computers on a single network, which is called a LAN, or a local area network. Routers, on the other hand, are used to send data between independent networks. Routers operate on the network layer, and they are also very similar to switches in that they can inspect the data to determine the IP of where the data is meant to be sent to. Home routers, or the ones that you guys will normally see in your own house, won't be nearly as sophisticated and are meant to be simple. All they will do is take data from your home or office network and send it to your ISP. The ISP router, or what we call a core router, must be able to handle a much heavier load of data, as well as be able to send data to many different places, and therefore a core router is very complicated and much more bigger. Routers will share data using the BGP, or what we call the Border Gateway Protocol. The Border Gateway Protocol will help them send data through the most optimal path to its destination, so the data reaches there as fast as possible. Servers and clients. This may not be what you are used to when we're talking about servers and clients. All of the network devices are called nodes, but it's important to separate these nodes as servers and clients. A server is the device that responds to a request and sends data. A client will always be the device that is requesting the data. Now, individual computers running on the same node can both be a server and a client to each other, and in fact, most nodes can be both clients and servers. It's important to not confuse this. Then we have a terminology which is called moving bits, and in fact moving bits is the main focus of the physical layer, and moving bits is basically moving the zeros and ones, or moving the datas. Ones and zeros are bits. Physical layers consist of devices and the means of transmitting these bits across the computer networks. A bit is the smallest representation of data that a computer can be understood. It is either a 1 or a 0. Every single piece of data transmitted over computers are built from ones and zeros, and in fact, everything that you can see on your computer ever will only be built with ones and zeros. There is a whole set of arithmetic built upon this that only uses ones and zeros. Modulation is a way of changing the voltage of a charge moving across a cable, and this is necessary, remember, in order to transmit the differences between a ones and zeros. There is always going to be two different ranges. One range will represent the 0 and the other range will represent the 1. Modern networks are actually capable of moving billions of ones and zeros across a single network cable every single second. The most common pair of cabling used for connecting computing devices is known as the twisted pair, and the standard Cat6 cable has 8 wires consisting of 4 twisted pairs, and these Cat6 cables actually allow duplex communication. Duplex communication is an important concept to understand. This is when information can flow in both directions across the cable. This is the reason for multiple twisted pairs, as you have more pairs in order to send information. Duplex communication is broken into two categories: full duplex and half duplex. The difference between this is half duplex is two-way communications one at a time, whereas the full duplex is two-way communication at the exact same time. So if both recipients and senders send messages at the exact same time, only a full duplex will be able to work this, whereas a half duplex will stop one of them from sending until the other one has completed sending. Let's talk a little bit about network ports. Network ports are twisted pair network cables which are terminated with a plug that takes the individual internal wires and exposes them, and the most common plug is known as RJ45. So what are network ports do, or where are they technically? Network ports are generally directly attached to the devices that make up a computer network. Switches, for example, have many network ports, but servers and laptops will have very few, if any. Network ports will always have a link light, as well as an activity light, or at least one light that combines these two. The link light will only light up when there is a connection link established, and an activity light will light up whenever anything is being sent or received. A patch panel is a device containing many network ports, but it does no other work. A container for the endpoints for many runs of cables. You can think of it as a container that has a bunch of network ports. That completes Module 2. In Module 3, we will go over the data linked layer. I hope to see you guys there, and thank you for watching.